right, so our next question is going to be directed at Ken Frey. In your experience, what are some low-risk, high-reward investments that manufacturers can make to improve machinery, efficiency, uptime, or throughput, which is kind of one of the easy ways to justify investing in automation, right?
Yeah, great. Nikki, I think your intro of me just about answered my whole question, so fantastic intro. A couple things come to my mind, and they kind of all fall under a digital transformation basket, and that's a big word, and everybody's hearing it. But there are some very specific things that you can do right now that aren't big costs, that do give you a very fast payback. First off, make sure the machines that you have right now are being as valuable to you and your organization as possible. They're all creating tons of data. Your machines, your robots, your sensors, your motors, data's going everywhere, but nobody's using it. We just launched our 10th, I think, 2025 State of Manufacturing report. And that said that the customers that responded, 50% of them aren't even using the data that their own machines are producing, right? So that's just valuable information falling on the floor. So, get with your favorite robotics solutions provider, your automation companies, and start mapping out a strategy of how to use that information. Secondly, digital twins are there, they're ready, and if you're not thinking about them, you need to start thinking about them. It can be a low-cost way of really risk-proofing some of the designs that you make. Imagine being in a facility that you run one product one day, you want to do something different, do it digitally, figure out if it'll work, rather than start moving machines around and changing configuration of your facility. It's like having the answers to the test before you get the questions, right? It's a much lower cost way of doing it. I was with a group last night. They had a brand new use case for me. They had a customer that was across the country. They were having a problem that they couldn't find. It was a ghost. Their group put it together digitally in their facility. They found it, they put new code, sent it to the customer, and it worked, right? Rather than someone having to figure it out on site. So a lot of great use cases for digital twin. The third one is AI. Another super scary topic depending on what publication you pick up.
Big buzzword.
Yeah, right. But there's easy things you can do with it, right? You don't have to boil the ocean with it. You don't have to have this massive strategy. But figure out something to do with it that's easy. What if you took your quality data and ran it through an AI engine? Quality was the #1 response in our report. One that came in second this year, cybersecurity. It wasn't in last year's report at all. But this year it jumped all the way up to #2 in the use cases for it. So people are going to start using it. Again, the report said 95% of companies are going to be using it in 5 years. So figure out where you want to fit in that. To go back to my first point, what if you took that data your machines are producing and hooked that into an AI engine? I think there's a lot of immediate value you could get out of that without a lot of investment.
Yeah, I read a recent Forrester report that came out with a company called Hushcka last week, and they also surveyed, they're more maybe in the machine shop side of manufacturing, but 30% of their respondents, 90% said that they had plans to implement AI in the next 5 years, and they saw it making a huge difference in their business. But only 30% said they actually had the data available to do anything with AI.
Yep.
I just go back to something Ken said about the digital twin.
Yeah.
That's something I'm real excited about for our company. We've been doing simulations, robotic simulations for many years, and our troubleshooting is done virtually a lot of times, but it's usually just the robot and a few of the auxiliary items. But here soon we're going to be able to virtualize the entire system, and we'll start with that, be able to simulate and make changes to the system before it even hits the floor. We would continue to use that digital twin while we're troubleshooting, and I think that's going to take weeks out of our delivery, which customers be very excited about. Of course, if we take 3 weeks out of the delivery, they'll probably order 3 weeks later, but that happens. But the other thing that I've seen with the troubleshooting is that even after we've shipped the system, our techs continue to pull up old jobs on simulation, troubleshoot, figure out what changes need to be made, and then download them, even remotely. So I think the digital twin for the entire system is something that's very well in reach now, and it would allow us to do a lot more offline programming and troubleshooting than we currently do today. So that's one exciting thing for motion controls as far as what's on the horizon.
Very cool. And then
I think AI still has a little bit of what I call the Super Bowl problem, right? That your boss went and saw the ad at the Super Bowl that said AI will solve all of your problems, right? And businesses aren't really asking the question, what business case am I trying to solve? What is the problem? What's the right toolkit for that problem? So if, just going to a company and saying, I need AI is not the right way to attack that challenge. It's what you just talked about. It's, well, what value are you trying to get from whatever technology you choose to deploy?
And I think the other thing is it's all about partnering with the right companies, right? So somebody like an MCRI, they've been in business for 30 years, they've done things the old way, and now they're doing things the new way, and they're continuing to evolve. And so they, as a partner to you, are evolving what you're getting. You don't have to be the one initiating all of the new things, right? Your partners are investing in that time, figuring out what they can deliver to you. And I'll say the same thing about AI. You may not ever actually have to buy AI, right? You don't have to have AI developers. You don't have to develop in R and Python on your own. Yes, it's possible. And there's certainly tons of solutions out there if you have somebody on staff or you're the type of company that wants to innovate in that space. But otherwise, really what you're doing is working with your partners, adopting some of their new technologies, which will have AI baked in, and it's doing the thing that you want. So you may or may not ever have to actually go out and get AI, right? Because the companies that are going to continue to stay in business for the next 5 to 10 years, they will be offering a product with AI baked in one way or another that is built for your specific use case. Not necessarily this, I'm going to now take all your data and run AI on top of it, and AI doesn't even really mean anything, right? Is it a large language model? Is it a generative AI model? Is it statistical machine learning? You probably shouldn't even care. You don't need to. It's the specialist, the vendor that made that piece of software to solve a specific piece of problem, or a specific problem, they'll decide what's the best AI tool for that, right? And then the proof is in the pudding for you of what's the result. What problem is it actually solving?